Welcome back, guys, to episode 26 of Rip City Rundown. This is our first podcast on the Zoom. We're upgrading, we're making upgrades. This is going to be our
Mhm.
first podcast on the 2021-2022 season. We'll be talking about Suns game, talking about the Kings game, talking about what we like about the Blazers, what we don't like. Um, Obviously, it's not just me, as you can see now. We've got West and we've
What's
got
up?
Cody.
What's up?
Hello.
So yeah, this is going to be what the podcast normally is going to be like from now on. It's going to be once a week. It'll probably differ days. Most likely it'll come either Saturday or Sunday, but we'll just do breakdowns on the games throughout the week and whatever we want to talk about. So I'm going to send it to Cody
Facts.
to start. He's going to give us just some stats through the first couple
All
games,
right.
and we'll get going.
All right. So obviously, opener Blazers versus the Kings at home. Obviously, resulted in a loss, 124, 121. So close game. Looking at the stats, let's start with the Kings actually, because Harrison Barnes,
Mm.
8 for 11 on threes. I'm looking
Yeah.
down because the stats are
Didn't
on
see
my
that one
phone.
coming.
Aaron Fox, 9 for 22, 27 points. Harrison Barnes, 36 points. Sorry. Holmes 21 points, and then Harkless back in Portland 7 points. Heald came big off the bench, 17 points. They shot 41% from three, which is quite.
Didn't
That's
like that
pretty
early
high.
sign from them.
Didn't like
Pretty
that.
high.
Didn't like
Pretty high.
that. And then looking at the Blazers, Dame obviously struggled. If you watch the game clearly, 20 points, 0 for 9 on three.
Mm.
Hasn't done that since the Pelicans game, which all three of us were actually at in December
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
2019. I do remember
That's
that.
true. That is true.
CJ had a solid game, 34 points. Lillard did have 11 assists, though. So can you say it was a bad game? Force him to give up the rock a bit there. Nurkic, 20 points. Looking at the team stats, we shot 48%, which isn't bad, but 34% for three as a team. That
Mm.
is obviously a good shooting team, not what you like to see. And rebounds and everything, pretty even. So let's talk about that game, specifically
Yeah.
West.
Yeah. I'll start us off. So I think the first thing that obviously jumps out is the fact that Harrison Barnes shot and made 8 more threes than Damian Lillard. Like, that's going to happen maybe one time every 100 games. And it happened to happen that game. And we only lost by 3. So I wouldn't like overreact too much from the scoreline. I think the main problem we had was just 3-point shooting, like defense with closeouts and stuff. I mean, like 41%, like you said, from 3. That's going to be, tough to beat, especially when your star player is not playing well. Definitely a hurtful loss on opening night. But I did see some good things. I saw some good things. I thought CJ played well. Um, I thought Roko played well. I did not think Nurk played particularly well because, again, like we all see every year, his flip shots, like he's 7 feet, 300 probably, and he like flips it up like a ballerina. It's like, dude, you got to go up strong. Go up strong. So, I don't want to overreact. I think we should be winning that game. I think there were some outliers that happened that caused us to lose, though.
Yeah, I mean, to go along with what you said, going back to what you said, Cody, given the fact that Dame did not make a three, I still think he had a pretty solid game. I think it's been a theme throughout the first couple games. We haven't seen as much hero ball Dame. It's been more
Mhm.
facilitator, which I do like to see. Because back when we were making Western Conference Finals, it wasn't Dame averaging 30 points and having to hit 5 threes a night like it's been the past like 2 years. So I like to see that. I thought CJ, I thought he played a really good game.
At 34.
Yeah, 34, 6 threes, and even 5 assists, 6 rebounds. So an all-around really good game. He's
Mhm.
starting to look a lot like he was at the beginning of the last season. Hopefully he just stays healthy and can continue that throughout the
Yep.
year. But the thing that made me the most disappointed for the first game was the fact that we were preaching this whole defensive mentality all offseason. And obviously we're starting off with the first game, and that's the worst one. We saw improvements in the second one. But we only gave up 24 points in the first quarter, and I'm like, oh, we look pretty good. We might actually be a pretty good defensive team this year. And we're playing the Kings. We're like,
Yep.
okay, we should win this. But then
Yeah, the
after that,
Kings
we
are
just
the
fell
Kings are
apart.
still like run and gun.
I mean,
Kings
yes,
love to score points.
the second and third quarter was just really tough to
Pace.
watch.
Yeah,
Obviously, we
I
made that
agree.
comeback, but defensively, that was disappointing to see game one for sure.
I got a question for y'all. Either one of y'all can answer. So obviously, this Blazers starting 5 when playing together last year were very, very good. And I think a big question coming into the year was how are the new additions going to play, particularly on the bench, that being Larry Nance Jr., Cody Zeller, just to name a few. I mean, you saw Simons, obviously. And Nasir Little, I'm not going to say he's new, but he's going to get a lot more playing time this year. So,
For sure.
So how do you think they played in the first game? You can throw in the second game if you want.
Yeah. I think they played well. They actually had the only positive plus minus in the Kings game. That would be Cody Zeller and Larry Nance Jr.
Yeah, he did play well that game.
I think they're just good on the defensive rotations. Zeller, obviously, how tall is he? 6'10". Larry Nance Jr.
is
6'8", something like that. But yeah, I think they've had great first games, and I like what I see so far.
Yeah. To go along with that, I think the bench just in general is just going to be a lot better this year. I have a lot more confidence with Cody Zeller and Larry Nance Jr. than Melo and Cantor. While obviously they're not going to have the production on offense that Melo and Cantor had. We need more than that.
That's going to be more like Simons.
So, and we'll probably see Nance or Little slot into the starting lineup now, given the fact that Norm went down with a little injury yesterday. Luckily, it's not serious.
I think he's fine.
Not serious. Yeah, that's true.
I don't want to harp on the first game too much. If you guys are ready, I want to go ahead and move to the second game.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
go ahead and start talking about that. So obviously we won 134-105.
I'll do the stats.
I actually am not going to give as much of a breakdown as others. I didn't really watch as much of it. I was actually, as you guys know,
at the Braves game.
World Series. Almost caught a home run. You could go back and watch it if you want to. Just know I'm first row in the outfield.
You want to run through stats quick, Cody?
All right. Yeah. So here are the stats on the Suns game on Saturday. We won 134-105. C.J. McCollum, 10 for 19, 6 for 11 for threes, plus 20. Plus 20. That is ridiculous. Dame, 6 for 11, 19 points. But again, 8 assists, starting off with lots of assists, 10 plus 8, 18 assists so far in the season in the first 2 games. Norman Powell, when he was in, 6 for 8, 16 points. On the bench, Simons, 18 points. I mean, we kind of just took the Suns and dug them to the ground. The game went on. We extended our lead. It was beautiful, really. We shot 54%, 42% from 3. That's our offense. That's our offense in a nutshell right there when we're feeling hot. And not saying, we got lucky or anything, but the Suns definitely struggled. 48% actually not too bad, but 32 from 3. And you love to see the defense stepping up in this game, especially after that Kings game. We outboarded them 48-38, limited turnovers. They had 14 turnovers. Our defense this game was definitely better than the last game. Going to the Suns now, Booker, 21 points, Bridges, 14 points. Not much, though, pretty much spread it out there. So, definitely improvements on the defense.
Yeah, I would say when we hired Chauncey Billups, this was kind of like so-called what we were promised, not maybe promised, but what we are expecting is improvement on defense and maintaining the level of offense that the Blazers have. Because last year, as we know, we were like number 2 in offensive rating, but 29 in defensive rating. And I don't care how good your offense is. You ain't going anywhere if your defense is second worst in the league. So, holding the Suns to 105 is really good. It is early in the year. I don't anticipate the Suns to be that bad when we see them again later in the year. But I am very encouraged with the way the defense played. And I also found it interesting how you're talking about Dame didn't necessarily score the amount of points that he did last year. Obviously, we all remember Game 5 against the Nuggets, poured in 55 in the loss, unfortunately. But I think this year Dame's going to – obviously, he'll go on a tear at some point in the year where he's scoring 40 a game. But I could definitely see him probably maybe being more of a facilitator. And by facilitator, I mean instead of scoring 45, he's scoring 30. I mean, he's still going to get his numbers. But, our starting 5 is so prolific offensively. I could see Dame kind of, taking a step back on offense, maybe resting because, he gets pretty tired in the playoffs. I think we're deeper.
He only took 11 shots last night, which is
not a lot.
I mean,
CJ took 19. CJ took 19. I'm looking at it here.
When Dame only has to play 24 minutes in a game and you win by 30, that means you're firing on all cylinders.
I want to shout out,
in my opinion, was Anthony Simons. I really like.
Yeah, literally, I was about to shout him out. 50% from the field, 50% from 3.
What do you do? Hit 2 threes and then had a crazy move on JaVale McGee to get by him. So I really like what I saw. I think him and Little can be a really good little duo off the bench, and as they just continue to progress,
I mean, Nasir Little, I know is a blowout, but Nasir Little's playing 27 minutes. I don't mind that. He's young. He's got energy. He plays defense. He's at this point, hopefully there's not as many, lumps and growing pains with him because he's, is this 4th year now in the league?
Yeah,
3rd?
3,
Yeah.
I think.
I think
I think it's 3rd year.
Yes, Simon's is 4th,
But,
I think.
you know how the Blazers will develop young guys, and it's usually around their 3rd year where they start to break out. So I'm looking for a breakout year from Little. I hope Nasir plays well this year. Not much to take away from, Ben McLemore, Ellaby, Greg Brown getting minutes. I mean, good for them to get in the game. Dennis Smith Jr. Shout out Dennis Smith Jr. for making the roster.
Yeah, I liked what I saw for him in the preseason. He was the only one that was like consistently
Playing
good numbers.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he made the roster.
The interesting thing is if you told me the Blazers would be 1-1 after the first 2 games, I would have taken it.
Yeah.
It went vice versa. I thought we'd beat the Kings, lose to the Suns. But, the Suns game is the better they're a better team. Like, it's a more impressive win. I really think we beat the Kings without some immaculate shooting from Harrison frickin' Barnes.
Yeah, and we held them to 105 points. Going back to that, that is really, really good. Knowing that we had a big lead and that happened, because if it was a close game, the defense would have, stepped up. I mean, we kind of, didn't try. I guess you could say. Like, we could have held them under 105 if it was a close game.
Yeah.
I like how we got McNuggets in the 3rd quarter too.
We do have to say the Suns.
100.
Yeah, the Suns did play against LA last night, so stamina could be a factor there. But
second night.
Nevertheless, still amazing to see a blowout win against the former Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, and if the Blazers want to make noise this year, they're gonna have to beat some good teams. The Western Conference is loaded. I mean, you have the Suns, the LA teams, the Jazz, the Nuggets, the Warriors. That's just the Mavericks. I mean, Luka. The Grizzlies are looking to get better. The Timberwolves are looking to get better. I mean, low-key, the only team that is a quote-unquote pushover in the Western Conference would be the Kings, and we lost to them.
Yeah.
Like, every team is really good. So, the Blazers are going to have to win tough games. Should we look ahead to some upcoming games?
Just quickly before we do, I just want to go over Norman Powell. I know I mentioned it a little earlier.
All right. Good.
The full extent obviously has not come out yet. I'm not sure when that will come out. But he avoided a major knee injury. I didn't even realize he
I don't even think it
wasn't like he was laying on the floor in pain.
Yeah, it wasn't like over one play.
I did see he avoided serious injury, which is clutch.
It's just a sprain. But how do you say he's out a couple weeks? You got to be precautionary at this point. Who do you want to see get all those minutes and shots and just move into that starting lineup?
I would like to see Nasir Little.
I agree.
For some reason, I get a feeling it's not going to be.
I think it might be Nance.
Yeah, I was going to say
Nance.
Be a really big lineup. Yeah, I would want to see Nasir, but I'm not sure. But this might not be like a great point or anything, but I'm telling you, one key for the Blazers this year is just to stay healthy.
That's pretty
huge
because it's not. And
it's it's more often than not, it's not within your control if you can stay healthy or not. But I mean, we've had injuries for probably 3 years in a row that serious injuries for a good chunk of the season. Like the Jazz were really good last year. They were extremely healthy last year.
Exactly.
So I think if we're healthy, that can go a long way. And it's like, well, duh. But I mean, this team has endured some injuries in the past. So a healthy season would go a long way to some consistency, especially with a new coach.
I'll take some minor injuries.
Speaking of, I'm just curious. What do you guys think of Chauncey Billups so far? His scheme, just maybe as a coach, you like him?
I like him. I mean, I think
he's a good leader.
We played some defense, and I like him in the locker room after. If you saw the video, it was on the Blazers Instagram. He was like, this is how it should be. Like, we should be having fun out there playing defense. So it seems like he's
you could see just
really
the effort on the defensive end for the first games for the Blazers, wanting to show that they are a better defensive team, especially in that Suns game. I mean, that was great to watch. Almost as fun as the offensive end to watch. In a way,
just an amazing game. That's the Blazers team I want to see. But like you were saying,
game against the Suns.
Look ahead.
All right, let's look ahead.
We'll look ahead. So obviously we have well, we have 4 games in the week. I know we do the podcast on Saturday, Sunday, so we might not cover all 4 games just because they play on Sunday night.
Yeah.
But we have the Clippers twice, and we have the Grizzlies. And if we get that 4th game, it would be the Hornets, who are 3-0, by the way, which that's good for them. But, mainly it's going to be the Clippers twice. We got to go 2 Staples, I believe, tomorrow. And then we got Memphis and LA at home. And it's just Monday, Wednesday, Friday. 2-1 I'd be happy with. It'll be tough to beat. I'm looking at that Grizzlies game that's on ESPN too.
Yeah, I know. I think
that's a game we need to win.
For sure.
It's tough to beat the same team twice within the week. It's the NBA. Every team's good.
But I mean, Clippers, what are they? They're 0-2, correct?
Clippers are 0-2. They lost to the Warriors. They lost to the Warriors.
2 close games.
Did they lose to? They lost to the Kings?
Grizzlies.
They said Kings. Like what?
Yeah, they're going to want a strong win here against us on Monday here.
Pandemic P's averaging 35.
Yeah, but they're without Kawhi. They're a vulnerable team. They're not an automatic L.
Oh yeah, I mean for sure. I mean, they have Isaiah Hartenstein averaging the 4th most points on the team, so it's probably not a recipe to be an elite team. But like you said, a 2-1 of the 3 games there. Throwing in the Hornets, a 3-1 week.
I think a 3-1 week would be really good
very
for this
good.
team.
I think that even if it doesn't result in like a 3-1 week, if it's like a 2-2, just continue the defensive consistency. Like I don't want to just
because
Suns.
Winning road games in the NBA is not easy. You got to go 2 Staples, and I mean the Hornets are 3-0, so you can't sleep past them in Charlotte. Speaking, that game's in Charlotte. I might go to that game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to the Clippers game tomorrow. You never know. I'm a 20-minute.
Cole, you trying to go to the game in Charlotte?
We're gonna have to.
Yeah,
I was actually mentioning the other day. How much are tickets again at Staples, Cody? Have you looked?
Well, $4,000 for courtside, but if you want to go back, it's like $200. Yeah, I'm gonna need some help.
What is it in 200?
Like middle section.
Up in the bleeds, in the nosebleeds.
Bleeds, we're looking at $20. Yeah, whatever.
You think we're actually gonna settle for the bleeds though?
Yeah, no. Anyway, we want to talk about other teams. So it was funny because the Lakers, they got blown out. Like, how are we thinking about the Lakers? Because everyone looking at them as the best team in the league.
Here,
we have Russ jawing with the ref. We have AD jawing with Dwight. We have Rondo jawing with a fan. We have LeBron flopping. It's like
we have LeBron.
I'm telling you, dude, the Lakers
from the bench.
The Lakers are an interesting case study because it's like interesting team to look at. They're like aging superstars from like a decade ago, and they still have firepower. They'll still be good, but it'll be interesting to watch them how they coexist with one another. It's a lot of personalities on that team.
Who have they played so far though? Like, have they played some tough? They played
the Warriors. And they played the Suns.
I think that might be it.
And I think those.
So they're 0-2. The LA teams are 0-2. Look at that.
A team that's looking really good to me though. Oh, actually, I'm gonna
wait. Don't say it yet because I want to ask you something. This can be part of our little game we like to do. Okay. Give me your one player and one team. Okay. Biggest winners and losers from week 1.
Okay.
I know it might take a little bit of research, but I can give you mine. I can give you the teams, though.
Yeah, you give us yours while we'll be looking for our team that we like.
Okay. I can give you teams. Players might have to.
I got one right away.
Yeah. My team that is the biggest winner are the Bulls.
No. That's the team I was going to say is good, but then I looked at their schedule, and I'm like.
That's fine.
But still,
the Bulls have been, as we would
about.
like to say, dog water. Bulls have been trash in recent years, and now they have 3-0. And they got some pieces: DeRozan, Levine, Lonzo Ball. So
their nickname?
What? Oh wait, isn't it?
Zach?
That's what it is. Balzac. That's what.
I'll give my player that I think has looked really good so far.
Go for it.
It's on a 2-0 team. I'm not going to give this team my award, but I'm going to give mine to Ja Morant.
Nice.
Just looking at his statistics, and I've seen a couple posters that he's had already. He's averaging 32.5 and 7 assists, only turning the ball over 3 times on a 2-0 team who's beaten the Clippers and then the Cavs. So one pretty good win. I'd still say the Clippers is a good win. So I think
Yeah.
Ja Morant has been one of the best players so far in the early season. Oh, by the way,
Yeah.
Hornets beat the Nets today, so 3-0.
Yeah. So,
Impressive.
so yeah, I said biggest team winner, Bulls. I go biggest player winner. Sorry, I'm gonna go Steph Curry. He's
Yeah.
dominated the first 2 games. I mean, when you have a triple double and say you didn't play well,
He had
And
25
some.
in the first quarter.
Yep,
Yeah.
that's my player, Steph Curry, for sure, with that hot hand.
Yeah.
25 first quarter, absolutely ridiculous. And then a triple-double despite shooting like 5 for 20, so impressive. And I'm going to give the Warriors actually the best winning for the team because they
2-0.
beat the Lakers
I
and
was
the
gonna say, I'm
Clippers.
gonna say
Strong
Warriors,
start.
too.
Strong start, especially without Clay, and he's coming back, December or
I'm gonna
something
say
like that.
Warriors.
So,
Speaking of the Warriors and Clay, did you see that list of
Yeah.
top 7?
saw
yeah, let's talk
the
about that
joke.
real quick. Let's talk about that real quick.
I'm surprised.
Okay. Do y'all think that Dame deserves to be on it at this
There's
point?
people that didn't make it. I think there's.
I would obviously. I'm the biggest Dame fan. Obviously, like we all love Damian Lillard.
I don't think
But
he's that.
you can make a case, probably a stronger case for why he shouldn't be on it than why he is.
Yeah, I don't think he should. I don't think Klay Thompson should be on over him. I don't know why Klay Thompson was really complaining. Like, he's really good. He's just not top 75 all the time. But a guy that did
Nice.
is Dwight Howard, who's like an 8-time All-Star, led his team to the finals, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. I know he's been kind of booty his last like 5 years, and he's kind of been a meme.
Nice.
He was still really good, but the fact that it's annoying though, going like and looking at all social media, and everyone's like, this player got snubbed, and everyone's like, well, who would you take off? And everyone's instantly just like, Dame.
Yeah, it's
And
so
Dame
stupid to
seems
compare
be the
these
one that's,
teams.
like, the guy that should get taken off the most.
The thing about Dame
Right.
is everyone compares him to other players by the team he's on. Like if you put Lillard on, I don't know, the 2017 Warriors with Kevin Durant, and instantly people are viewing him as good, maybe even better than Curry. It's just unfortunate that people have to compare. Like Dwight Howard literally had LeBron and won last year, and people are comparing rings at this point. It's like, Lillard's replaced with Dwight Howard. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry to change gears and everything, but I have come up with a loser for my biggest winners and losers. So the team loser. I'm sorry, but I'm going to go with the only 0-3 team in the league, and that's the Pelicans. I know Zion's
loser
hurt.
should be Zion.
No, the
Only
player
0-3.
loser, I'm going with Ben Simmons.
Oh gosh.
Remember
Remember when we wanted him for a little bit?
Look,
Yikes.
I am all for like mental health and everything. Like I get it, but dude, like he's just at this point becoming a absolute distraction for the
He
team.
just wants out at this point.
Yeah, he wants
Yeah.
out, but he's
I'm
doing it in a
so
way where it
glad.
doesn't make sense. Just get out,
I'm so glad the Blazers didn't pull the trigger on a Ben Simmons
CJ.
trade.
Because now CJ's leading the league in three pointers a game at 6.
Hopefully he doesn't break his foot this
Fun
time.
stat of the day.
My biggest loser, I'm gonna say the Lakers. Just with how high the bar was set and the execution in the first 2 games. I mean, what did they lose by? They lost, let me see, 115 to 105 against the Phoenix Suns. I mean, can't do that at home.
You want to know who my biggest loser is? And it's
Who?
not a team. It's just something I saw, and it just made me think. I'm just like, you guys are bums. It's Knicks
Right.
fans. They're 2-0 right now, and they won in
Right.
double overtime, and then they beat the Magic. But outside their stadium, they're still chanting F. Trae Young. Trae Young's
Hell,
still rent-free in their heads.
I'm sorry, dude, but
that was so
the Knicks haven't been in the playoffs before last year in like a long, long time. They just did not know how to act. I will say, Madison Square Garden got rowdy. You know, it's
Yeah.
probably the most entertaining first round series.
And
that's
I
what
will
Manhattan
say,
can do to you in your head. That's what Manhattan can do to you.
I will say my biggest, just not my biggest loser, but a loser as a player is Zion for 2
Bad
reasons. One is because he's not playing. He has to watch this team who's 0-3, and he just needs to get out of.
And this dog's over 300,
Pelicans.
I hear.
And I hear he's hitting 300 pounds possibly, and he's in like a
Ish.
Mountain Dew commercial looking a little chunk.
Jeez.
Got to slim down a little bit there, Zion.
Yeah, it's gonna
Um,
average a triple-double with cheese.
You know who else is? You know, another team that's sneakily 2-0 are the Timberwolves.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it means
I was
anything.
thinking about them, but I was like, no.
I mean, they beat the Rockets, who suck, and they beat the Pelicans, who suck. So good for them. Whatever. Looking at if you had to just ask you guys this, you think it's any chance that the Lakers or the Clippers miss the playoffs?
I think it's more likely that the Lakers, excuse me, the Lakers are not missing the playoffs.
Yeah, no way.
Clippers, I still don't think they'll miss the playoffs. I'll see them as like a play-in team, maybe like 10 seed, 9 seed.
I don't think they do, especially if Kawhi comes back. Is he coming back before? Yeah.
I hear Kawhi could come back, but then again, I don't know. My question that I'm gonna do before we wrap up here, I'm gonna go back to this Blazers related thing.
Yeah.
What should my question be? I'll say, which guy do you see making more of a jump? I know this is just a classic question, but obviously this is our first podcast on the season. But is it Anthony Simons or is it Nasir Little? I think you're going to go Nasir Little, West. You seem to like him a lot so far, but you might be wrong.
Well, so you asked me who I think is going to make the biggest jump.
Who's going to, compared to where they were last year, who's going to be the best? Obviously, Simons had a better year last year, but if Simons jumps.
I'll give you know what? I'll do one better. I'll give you an outside-the-box answer. Like, who's going to raise their stock the most this season?
Great way to look at it, man.
Are you ready for it? CJ McCollum.
That was my answer. Not even joking.
You think
CJ? And here's why.
We're thinking like all-star.
If any of the viewers, obviously, Cody, you do stocks. Cole, you know what stocks are.
Yeah, for sure.
Stocks, they ebb and flow.
Yeah.
CJ's stock was at an all-time low following the Nuggets series. I mean, we're going into the offseason like the only way we get better is if we trade CJ. And he's come out on fire. Man's averaging 31, 6 threes a game.
Love to see it.
If he can continue,
he's playing good defense too. Actually, not the worst defense.
If he's not an absolute, we're not playing 4 on 5 on defense.
Yeah.
But in terms of raising their stock, I think CJ will make the biggest jump over the season. He certainly has just so far. Cody, I know I took yours, but
I mean,
you can just say back.
Yeah, from the moment he started off so strong, and then he was a broken foot or sprained ankle. Yeah, look at that CJ logo right there, so fire. But no, I think he's gonna get back to that 2019 form, maybe even better. But the fact that he's just healthy and can get better, I mean, like you said, his stock's low, can only go up. So I'm gonna say CJ.
To be honest,
you go.
Yeah, go for it. Go.
You go. You're continuing on CJ, I think.
I wasn't. So go.
Okay. I'll go Nasir Little though. Back in 2019, that's the guy I wanted the most. I remember thinking it was going to be like a top 5 pick, and he ended up dropping to 25.
Yeah.
Obviously, I already knew about him because of
UNC.
But I think he can turn into a player like just a guy you put on the other team's best player or somewhat like that, and just go out there and just play insane defense because he's a freak athlete. And if he can just be like a knockdown shooter, not a knockdown, but an above average 3-point shooter. If he ends up being the one to go into the starting lineup for Powell, I think he could really raise his stock.
Well, I agree with that. Before we wrap up, because it's getting time to wrap up. I got one more question for you because I'm just coming up with questions on the spot here. So, my question: you can say Dame. That's just the lame answer. For the Blazers to get, I'm assuming the goal here is to get a top 4 seed in the West. That's the goal. It might be a little top 6 seed, not the play-in, right? Mm-hmm. That's fair for now. Yep. We're 1-1. It's early. In order for us to achieve our goal, maybe go to the second round, conference finals, NBA champions. If we're feeling risky here, who is the X factor for this team?
Nurk.
Yeah,
Nurk has to play back to what he was back in 2019. I think
pre-injury
Nurk, because
I agree.
And it's like he is our big man. He's our one big man. Like Nance,
when he is
Covington,
playing well,
it's like big bruisers. He's that guy.
Funny. When he's not playing well, and he's in foul trouble, and he's missing shots, when he's not playing good defense, he is not a top 15 center in the league. But when he is, he could be top 5.
I know you said Dame's a lame answer, and
hot take.
I would say him, but like 55 points, even if he has a monster game, and we're still going to lose. So it doesn't matter. So I'm going to say Nurk. Yeah, every game he was in foul trouble. We won that Nuggets series. I know I said that. And previous podcasts. But yeah, Nurk, he's just our one of a kind man. We don't have anyone, I guess, built like him. And when he's playing well, the team is rolling. So I'm gonna say Nurk pre-injury.
I think
Yep,
the reason
Nurk.
I say Nurk is because like his play is so important to this team, obviously, because like we don't have that. Like I said, we don't have that other big man. Like you said, he can be a top 5, top 7 center in the league on his
Top
best
5.
day. And
Top
another key with
5.
that is stay healthy, Nurk.
Top 5.
If Nurk stays healthy,
Yeah.
I can fly on my screen. But as long as Nurk stays healthy, like
Is he pissing you off?
I think his health is even more of an X factor. So I have to go Nurk.
Yeah, I mean, he can pass. He can play deep as the anchor on the defensive end. He'll be a huge reason why we improve defensively. Yeah, I agree. He's got a lot on his shoulders, but he just needs to play within himself. I think he can be a very good player for our team. Obviously, we have the guards. We've been defined by guard play for so long. Powell is kind of an extension of the guard play. Like, let's be honest, he's a third guard out there.
Yep,
I mean,
that's all we got. Is that it?
Nurk. Yeah, I think that's all we
I think
got.
that's all.
All right, so
We'll see you on Halloween, I think, for the next
facts.
podcast.
It'll
It's
be
Halloween night, baby.
Now that I think about it.
What are y'all
Saturday,
dressing up?
possibly.
Are y'all dressing up for Halloween, or y'all too old for that? I'm gonna be honest.
I'm
too
doing
old for that.
something, but I don't know what I'm dressing up as yet.
I don't.
Bro,
Actually,
I'm-
I might dress up.
If we-
Midterm following day.
Other
Won't be
favorites?
dressing up.
Ooh, I probably low key do too.
I've got a
Well, what are you doing, bro?
Our Cam Newton shoe right here for the Panthers. Panthers have currently just put in an offer for Deshaun Watson that they say the Texans cannot turn down. It's all about if Watson wants to come to the Panthers.
Yeah, we don't care about NFL.
Yeah, we don't care about NFL. This is
We
a
got
podcast.
Blazer game tomorrow versus Clippers. Let's get the W.
10 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock, might be 7:30 Pacific time.
And if you live in
Me
the
being on the East
Central,
Coast,
you probably
I'm
don't live
staying
there,
up
so we're
late.
not even going to say the time in the Central time.
Hey, if you do live in the Central time, we love y'all. We love y'all.
Yeah, so that's episode
Chiefs
26.
got the story.
Again, this is the new format we're going to be doing. Once a week.
Tunes, baby.
Come back, like you said, Halloween. And that'll be at Rip City.
Go Blazers.
Go Blazers.